Caleb Jackson is his running back, and Daniels pulls it, takes it himself. He's got the sideline. Jaden Daniels off to the races. And a bend back inside. He takes it to the house. 85 yards for Daniels.
Hello and welcome to Tigers Roar. I am Jonathan Poche, joined as always by the Bud Man, Buddy Sanji here at Old School Barbecue. LSU defeats Florida at home 52-35. They now move to 7-3 overall, 5-2 in the SEC. Bud Man put up 52 points against a team that wanted to be a fist fight. Billy Napier brought it out in his comments. He said he liked to go in punch for punch. They wanted to be physical. They brought it from the open and whistle. They wanted to be the team that beat up on LSU. That's all they really had to offer. They wanted to pound the ball in the run game. And we'll talk a lot about the game, but I want to welcome in the Bud Man here on a Tuesday. Jaden Daniels sets records, Bud Man. First FBS player with 250 on the ground and 300 through the air. And outstanding job. You saw the 85-yard run for the intro, Bud Man. He's a special player.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I was a little spicy last Tuesday when we taped, and rightfully so. But man, I had no idea. I'll give you the scoop, folks. We brought a bunch of Manda smoked sausage in to feed Florida in the pregame meal, and it was supposed to be green onion, but it was hot.
Yep.
And they came in here with a full of P&V and wanted to pick a fight.
Yep.
The two teams were at each other, jawing, and everybody knows that Corey Raymond used to be at LSU. He's coaching their DBs and corners. Billy Napier at ULL. A lot of tie-ins with the players, a lot of guys knowing each other. And this thing was back and forth.
Yep.
But, look, I always said this, JP. I'll never see another offense like 2019.
Right.
And we still hadn't got there
because
60 touchdowns in 1 year is crazy. But we'll never see in my lifetime, folks, a faster, more efficient quarterback than Jaden Daniels. And to think so many people doubted him. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. The biggest improvement, JP, I think all of us know, is his ability to release the football, throw it in the bucket, throw the deep ball, throw the intermediate route. But once again, they wanted him to have more touchdown passes and less running. And here it is, folks, 230-plus yards on the ground, over 350, as you alluded to,
372.
passing, 606 yards. I'll never see another LSU quarterback accumulate 600 yards in 1 year. You may, because you have more years on this earth left than me. But I got to tell you, folks, that was special. And can you imagine gambling and having Florida plus 15 and LSU scoring that last touchdown? It's crazy.
Yeah.
But we got a lot to get to. Hope everybody doing well. And, of course, we are obviously 9 days away from Thanksgiving.
Yeah, the Saints drop a game this weekend, so we won't have Saints highlights in this episode of Tigers Roar. There were no highlights to talk about. Jameis Winston did have a pretty nice comeback after Derek Carr got hurt. We'll talk some NFL later, some NFL LSU Tigers, that is. We'll talk about Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Daniil Hunter had a big hit on Derek Carr to put him out the game. He had a good game. Odell Beckham Jr. had a touchdown, Bud Man. So we'll talk some NFL later on this program. But it's all about LSU football. This week, Georgia State Panthers comes to LSU, and it'll be the last home game for the Tigers this year, right, Bud Man?
No, they host that.
A&M comes home
the following weekend at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
It'll be the last night home game.
Right, night.
And the network put the baseball bat through the butt of LSU sideways, giving you a Saturday after Turkey Day, 11 a.m., hosting Texas A&M, who fired Jimbo Fisher. Don't tell me America's not great, Clarence Buggs. Only in America would a football coach get fired and get $76 million on his buyout. Oh, by the way, Zach Arnett, Mississippi State, who was the interim coach and took over from the departed and unfortunate passing of Mike Leach, he gets the pink slip as well, JP.
This week, LSU has Georgia State. Sean Elliott, the head coach at the Panthers. 6-4 overall, a team with really nothing to lose. A huge opportunity to show what they have, to try to have some kind of showcase. Big game for LSU in the case of they have to continue to improve those young secondary players and stay healthy, bud, man. You cannot afford to lose anybody else in a game like Georgia State.
Yeah, 32-point favorite, 7 o'clock on ESPN2. And obviously some more injuries in case you missed it. John Emery, has he just had bad luck or what? Finally gets good to go this year. Ooh. ACL, he is done.
And the move he made in the hole before he got hurt was
he looked good. Logan Diggs is becoming a little worrisome now. They sat him out in this game. Don't know at this point if he's going to be good to go. But here's the crazy thing. Jaden Daniels in concussion protocol. And I thanked Alabama yesterday on my radio show because can you imagine if he wasn't in concussion protocol, what would have happened? I mean, obviously he didn't have a lot of reps. He did all of the film study and all. They got him ready, and lo and behold, JP, 606 yards. LSU 700 yards. And Billy Napier now is in a situation where they've got to beat Missouri or Florida State the last 2 weekends, or they don't go bowling. And here locally, you're hoping that LSU, of course, can get to 9-3 in the regular season, win a bowl game, get to 10. They did have some bad news. Kai Bates, their best commitment at cornerback, a 4-star, did decommit yesterday. So LSU's got some work to do, but you would hope that they would be able to go and pilfer some of those A&M recruits and get those flips now that Jimbo is out.
We'll take a quick break here on Tigers Roar. We'll come back for break. We'll let you guys see some highlights from this past Saturday, LSU hosting Florida. We'll also let you guys hear from Coach Brian Kelly later on this program. And don't forget, check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. We have a whole lot more here on Tigers Roar. You are watching Pelican Sports TV.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Right now, during the season of inspiration at Team Mazda, get 1.9% financing for 60 months on a new Mazda CX-5, or get 0.9% financing on the all-new 24 Mazda CX-90. Save thousands on over 150 new Mazdas now on sale at Team Mazda.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
continue here on Tigers Roar, talking some LSU football. Now sitting at 5-2 in the SEC. But, man, LSU had to guard against a letdown. SEC West is off the table after they lose to the Crimson Tide 42-28 the week before. Had to guard against a letdown. And in seasons past, you have seen a defeated LSU team come out and kind of lay an egg the week after they lost to an Alabama team. And, look, Billy Napier's team, we talked about in the first segment, they came to fight in Baton Rouge. They wanted to be a fist fight from the opening kickoff. And that's the kind of the way the game played out the first half. The referees, I thought, did a pretty good job of letting the guys kind of play and figure it out, not to call on too many personal fouls after the fact, but it certainly got chippy, Bud, man.
You just had to pick that scab. I'm going to say to Coach Brian Kelly, welcome to the SEC. Now I'm getting ready to go off, folks, for you. So let me just get this real quick straight. So Dallas Turner goes in and explodes like a missile and knocks Jaden Daniels out of the game. What was the biggest thing LSU fans had a problem with that?
Well, wasn't called targeting. And their problem was that Devin White had pushed a Mississippi State quarterback in a game previous and was ejected and then missed a first half of an Alabama game. So, look, we've seen every side of the call.
But they didn't even review it, JP.
No review.
They did not review it
at
Alabama. And lo and behold, and I don't know, we'll get into the targeting with Andre Sam, whether you think it was legit or not. But lo and behold, that was not called a penalty on the play. And so what happens? Bah, 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 bah. The Gestapo bastards in Birmingham, Dale Brown called the NCAA that, I guess I can call the SEC that, buzzed in and said, let's check for targeting. Wasn't called on the field, yet they want to replay it, and then they boot him out.
Yep.
Now, the good thing for LSU is that it was the rest of the half, and of course, you know, I guess it wasn't a good thing because you're playing Georgia State, and if there's any game that you could miss a half on, it would be better this week than last week.
Right.
But my point is, folks, this has been going on for 50 years and counting. The SEC, we told you a couple weeks ago, they were going to protect their fair-headed Georgia and Bama this year, and let's give credit. Those teams made statements, and they will play in Atlanta, and they're the two best teams.
Yep.
But the fact that the SEC office, who, by the way, Brian Kelly, after the game, went off on the SEC. Yesterday in his press conference, he was a little more tempered.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if he's going to get fired or not, but if you didn't get upset about that, you haven't been watching LSU in the SEC. I'm not trying to be a homer. I'm not trying to say this or that. But that really, really infuriated a lot of fans, the way they were handling that. How can you not replay and review Dallas Turner, and yet you buzz in and specifically replay this one and kick that kid out? I'll ask you point blank. Was it targeting on Andre Sam, in your opinion? Or was it a football play like Brian Kelly said?
No, it's absolutely a football play. But if you're going to follow the letter of the law, yes, the crown of his helmet did make contact, even though it was not to the head or neck area of the ball carrier. The running back, granted, it was to the shoulder, chest area. He did leave with the crown. He did explode through the hit. Do I think it was targeting? Absolutely not, but man, I do not think that was targeting.
And it wasn't a defenseless player.
It wasn't a defenseless player. He didn't get hit in the head and neck area. It wasn't like launching into the defender. He was just trying to make a tackle, and the guy tried to make a cut, and a helmet wound up on the shoulder pad. How he was ejected from the game for a football tackle is crazy, considering Jaden Daniels was in concussion protocol, missed a Tuesday practice because of a hit that was not called targeting. But if you're Brian Kelly, you maybe think, Jaden Daniels looked pretty good after missing that Tuesday practice. He might get that veteran NFL treatment and take a day off here and there, keep those legs fresh.
Well, now we're going to get into the good stuff. I appreciate everybody and JP letting me vent on that, but I just thought that was ridiculous. The way, and it's so typical of the SEC and the office in Birmingham, and we've seen it. Patrick Peterson, and we go on and on and on, all of the years and the missed calls. Now we're going to talk about the good stuff.
Here's some highlights from this past Saturday. I should try to go ahead and roll those, and we'll continue the conversation. But, man, Jaden Daniels accounted for 606 yards. through the air with his feet, you name it, and there you
his
go.
Neighbors right out of the gate with a great catch and run after the pass, JP.
Malik Neighbors, outstanding. Once again, did not get into the end zone, but had 6 catches for 132 yards, Bud, man. And he can hurt you so many different ways. Run after the catch with those jet sweeps. He can go up and get it. He can run the deep ball. In my opinion, the best wide receiver in college football.
He will get invited to the award ceremony and a high probability to win the Biletnikoff Award. Either him or Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to win it. Yep. And here we go with the first touchdown of the day.
Yeah, Josh Williams was the featured back as Logan Diggs was out. He had 11 carries, 30 yards in that touchdown. Also had 1 catch for 45 yards. But bigger story, Josh Williams, outstanding job blocking all night on those long runs. And there you go, Braden Switson getting a sack and a forced fumble right there. Great pressure from a young kid.
No doubt about it. Here's JD. Now, once again, here is where he is running. Watch this, folks. He looks like he's just gliding. He's going to take this puppy to the house. Oh, actually, not this one, but down to the 10-yard line. Once again, we've never seen a guy on skates. And, of course, LSU did not have great play calling at the beginning of the game. They got shut down on 4th down and turned over and then made a field goal. But JD obviously had a game to remember.
You see Harold Perkins getting some pressure. That could have turned into a kind of wacky play. Great awareness by a big offensive lineman to pick that ball up and give it to a skill guy to try to get something happening for Florida. But Harold Perkins did get the pressure and the forced fumble. Here's that 85-yard touchdown you saw in the intro. Jaden Daniels, 234 yards on the ground. When you see long runs like this, Bud, man, what are you absolutely sure of? Great blocking downfield by receivers and running backs. LSU got it all game. You saw it right there from Brian Thomas. Later on, you'll see a highlight where Josh Williams absolutely pancakes a guy that tried to get cute with Emory Jones at the beginning of the game. Kind of slung him around after the whistle. Josh Williams absolutely got his payback with a nice block you'll see later on in this montage.
Trevor Etienne, of course, the brother Travis, did rush for 3 touchdowns. LSU probably missed on him, but there were a lot of running backs coming in. Once again, here's JD, and he does it better than anybody. He's more patient this year, and then he's running, and this is another 30-plus yard run, JP.
Got to give a shout-out to Montrell Johnson Jr., the running back for Florida. Had an outstanding game on the ground and in the air. He also pulled down, I think it was 6 catches for 55 yards, but on the ground he had 70 yards on 16 carries. But a great job right there by Josh Williams. The reason I'm shouting out Montrell Johnson, a kid from New Orleans, went to De La Salle, a very small school, got his shot at UL with Billy Napier. Now he's doing it in the SEC, doing a great job representing those Cavaliers from De La Salle.
Yeah, as you alluded, Josh Williams getting him down there. Caleb Jackson gets in, and boy, I tell you, like to see him run the football. He got put in timeout because he fumbled a kickoff.
Yeah, you still see those special team woes, Bud, man, here. Florida pulls it close, but LSU really at this game, you're just waiting for that defense to make a stop. And here it is. Florida goes for the 2-point conversion and it gets it really close, Bud, man. Jane Daniels, though, also 372 through the air, Bud, man. 3 touchdowns, 2 to Brian Thomas Jr., who also had a great game. 6 catches, 150 yards in those 2 touchdowns.
Look at this run, folks. It's unbelievable how he is just splitting the blockers and gets in. And the one thing about Jaden Daniels, when he runs, he doesn't get tired.
Right.
A lot of people think that the wheelchair is going to get on top of you when you're running the refrigerator. Not with JD.
Yeah.
Here's Brian Thomas Jr. still leading the country in TD receptions now with 13. Malik Neighbors leads the country in yardage. And both of those guys are going to have plenty of awards after this year.
Last year, a lot of times, Bud, man, this offense was in, as they called it, survival mode, panic mode, just trying to move the ball downfield. Here's Noah Kane with a touchdown. This year, you see a very comfortable Jaden Daniels getting through his progressions, knows when to pull it and run. Brian Kelly will be asked later on this program. You'll get to hear him explain it. What the biggest progression was from last season to this season, I have to agree with Coach Kelly when he says it's the long ball. It just looks so natural out of Jaden Daniels' hands these days. He doesn't throw the receiver to the sideline. It gives him a chance to catch it and run. Great placement on his deep ball, something that was vastly improved, Bud, man, from last year. Etienne
with his 3rd touchdown. Omar Speights, number 1, just not fast enough. People still wondering why Weeks has been not given opportunities.
Yep.
Another great hookup with Jaden Daniels and Brian Thomas Jr.
Talking about the defense, Speights led the Tigers with 13 total tackles, 4 solo. Did have a quarterback hurry. Jovian Toviano had 5 solo, 11 tackle. Did have the forced fumble and 1 pass breakup. Harold Perkins, 8 total, 6 solo. Did have the sack, the forced fumble, and a QB hurry.
All right, so there we go. That was the highlights and back with us. Yeah, I don't know if you consider that a pass on that little
of course it's a pass.
Dump off. I know, but it's almost like a wide receiver.
Yeah.
But
right.
Look, bottom line is that we're going to talk real quick for a minute about Jayden Daniels, and you think he's going to win it. I think he's definitely going to get a spot and a trip to New York, but here's some good things about it. Michael Penix and Bo Nix are both in the same part of the country, up in the West and Northwest, and so they're going to split some votes.
Yep.
Do you think the way Jalen Milroe is coming on that he'll take some votes away from Jayden Daniels? You've got Jayden Daniels winning this thing?
Yeah, unless Bo Nix or Penix have an astronomical performance in these last 2 weeks, I do think it is Jayden Daniels' Heisman Award to lose. Don't think Bo Nix gets it done. Penix, he has a lot of following up in Washington. It's a big story. They've been playing really well. The kid from Michigan, McCartney, they threw the ball, I think, one time.
I don't know how he's even in the discussion.
They threw the ball one time in the second half to beat Penn State in a game their head coach wasn't even a part of. So, yeah, Jayden Daniels, I think the national media has kind of started laying the groundwork for him to take home the Heisman this past Saturday. They talked about Tim Tebow, RG3, and Lamar Jackson, all Heisman Trophy winners who had multiple losses.
3 losses.
I think one of those guys had 4 losses on a team. So, yeah, look, it has been done before, and Jayden Daniels' stats are far surpassing every other contender. So, yeah, I believe if I got a vote, it would be Jayden Daniels. No doubt.
I think he's going to be invited to New York, and on that award show, Malik Neighbors obviously is going to. Marvin Harris Jr. is the guy nationally that has more reputation national than Malik Neighbors. But you could have once again. And, of course, it happened in 19, Burrow and Chase. That would be something if you had the Heisman and the Biletnikoff win again at LSU. And this bodes well for recruiting quarterbacks and wide receivers in the future.
Yeah, we'll take a quick break here on Tigers Roar. We'll come back and let you guys hear from head coach Brian Kelly. You're watching Pelican Sports TV.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
You could be driving. With increased cabin and storage space and class-leading standard safety features, the 4th generation Honda Pilot is simply the largest and best SUV in Honda history. And we have it in stock and on sale. Come save at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements. And that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
The winning play is the Buy Here, Sell Here event at the Team Automotive Group. Buy here and save on hundreds of certified and pre-owned vehicles. Or sell here and we'll pay you top value. Buy here or sell here and you'll be the winner at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Here on Tigers Roar. Appreciate you tuning into this episode. If you missed any of the first two segments, go check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. All the Tigers Roars are archived right there for your viewing pleasure. While you're at the page, click the like and the subscribe and the notification buttons. It'll help us out with the algorithm, and you'll be notified every time we post something new here on Pelican Sports TV. Once again, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Talking some LSU football. Just defeated Florida this past Saturday. Coming up this weekend is Georgia State at home. We'll let you guys hear from Coach Brian Kelly in just a moment. Budman, Coach Denbrock is getting a lot of credit for this offense, just like Coach Matt House is getting a lot of criticism for the defense. But has Joe Sloan and Mike Denbrock got enough credit for this Jaden Daniels explosion this year? Look, Daniels, all the gifts you can want at a quarterback. He's tall, he can run, he's strong, throw the deep ball well this year. He's making good decisions. Have Denbrock and Sloan got enough credit?
I don't know. And the reason I say that is that next year's quarterback is not going to make all these plays. Next year's quarterback is not going to have 606 yards. So I think Daniels gets more credit. Look, Denbrock in big games has left a lot to be desired. Joe Sloan has done a good job. You give him the props. Brian Kelly, who we're getting ready to listen to, got a little upset that Matt House has gotten so much criticism. And you've heard me with all the jokes about real estate in Baton Rouge and what a $2 million a year gets you, what kind of house it gets you this year. Look, those guys get paid a lot of money, and you got 4 downs, you didn't get it in, and you have to settle for a field goal.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'll give them decent grades, but let's not make them out to be Lane Kiffin or anybody else calling plays.
We'll let you guys hear from the head coach. Here is Brian Kelly talking about his matchup this past weekend against Florida, his quarterback going for the Heisman, a little bit of pub there, pumping his guy. Here's head coach Brian Kelly.
Hi, good afternoon. Do a quick recap of the Florida game. I think we start off with just a great environment in Tiger Stadium. Excited to see our fan base come out and create a great atmosphere for our football team. Again, I think what's important to point out was an incredible individual performance by Jaden Daniels, who certainly put himself as a Heisman candidate with that performance. But it's been a body of work that certainly, I think he's number one in the nation in total offense, passing touchdowns, rushing yards by a quarterback, pass efficiency. Just an incredible night of offensive football and scoring 52 points. Over 700 yards in total offense. Again, the offense ranks top 10 in the nation in 9 categories. Number 1 in the nation in total offense, pass efficiency, and plays of 20-plus yards. Also, Jaden Daniels was named the SEC Offensive Player of the Week, and Charles Turner was the SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week. So those awards keep coming down on this offensive group that has been elite all year. So it was fun to watch them. And again, a gritty performance by our football team. We weren't perfect, but our guys played hard for 4 quarters. And respect the competition, being in the SEC, that you're going to get everybody's best, and I thought we got our opponent's best Saturday night. We flipped the script now, and get ready for a Georgia State team that, obviously comes in with nothing to lose, everything to gain. And for us, still about, looking towards, getting better each and every week. This will be about our preparation. This will be about how we get better in all facets. We want to continue to work towards, our offensive production being consistent week in and week out. We have players that are, certainly at the pinnacle of their particular position that want to continue to stay there, and certainly defensively continue to grow. We're playing a lot of young players. We want them to continue to get better at their craft as well. So excited to be back home again, and we finished the season at home. It's been obviously for us difficult road games. Our team has battled, put ourselves in a position now to finish the season strong. So we'll open it up to questions.
Hey, Coach. You mentioned, you talked a little bit after the game about him, but Josh Williams, just watching the film, he had some really prolific blocks that really helped open that game up for Jaden. Just, can you talk about it from that perspective, how important the run blocking from your skills players has been this season, and how effective that has played in y'all's offense?
Yeah, I think you just have to look towards some of the key plays in the game, and in particular the long runs. You don't run down the field unless you have others that are committed to making sure that occurs. And we all talk about the offensive line, and they've been outstanding, but you have to have receivers that are committed to that as well, and running backs. The one you're talking about in particular with Josh was the edge block that he made on their defensive end to free up Malik Neighbors on the flip, what we call our speed sweep. So, yeah, you're getting it from a number of different players that are setting up an unselfishness, on our football team, and in particular on the offensive side of the ball.
Hey, Coach, people see Jaden's highlights on the field. What can you share about him off the field as a leader? What makes people gravitate to him? And he came here not knowing anybody, right, and had to win over the whole team. What have you seen in that whole process with him?
Approachable. And when I say approachable, he's never been a guy that has built a bubble around himself. He has been a guy that has, I think, made himself available to everybody on the team, whether it's an offensive player or a defensive player. And I think that, when somebody comes in and transfers in, their guard is up. His has always been one where, he's been approachable. He's always been somebody that has reached out to others on our football team. And I just think that's made our entire team embrace him because he's been so readily available to everybody on our team, not just the offensive players, but the defensive players. And his demeanor, his personality, you see him smiling on the sideline all the time. That's the way he is, whether he's in meetings or whether he's in the football building. He has that personality, and I think it's infectious.
Yeah, Brian, right here. Considering where Jaden was, say, about halfway through last season, when kind of still reluctant to throw the ball downfield, y'all were still trying to learn what he liked. Have you had a quarterback in your career take this big a jump in one season, and what went into that?
No, I'd be hard-pressed to think of a quarterback that has made the kind of leap that he has made to where now you're looking at somebody that is clearly a front runner for the Heisman Trophy, and I don't know that I've had somebody make that kind of jump. And I think that it starts with it was in him. And I think he had that upside. And it's probably one of the things that we saw in wanting him to transfer here is that we saw a player that could be elite, and it was a matter of him having the confidence in himself, and then the development process needed to take place. So I think all of those things coming together, and then having the confidence in himself to go out and do it, and it certainly has been fun to watch.
Coach, when you have a quarterback have that kind of success, how much does it help you recruit quarterbacks, or is that more to do about who's on the depth chart at that time?
Well, I think in certain instances, if Jaden Daniels was coming back next year, it certainly affects it in some fashion. Or let's say he was a sophomore, it certainly would affect it a little bit, right? But now that he is certainly in his last season of competition, it opens up just the fact that, player development and the ability to compete for the Heisman Trophy exists at LSU, because it's not only right now, but it happened a few years ago with another LSU quarterback. So now you're starting to build not an accident, but a trend here at LSU. So that obviously speaks to recruiting and the ability to recruit elite quarterbacks to LSU.
Hey, Coach. Jimmy Lindsey was back in the fold with you guys for this past game. What is he sort of doing with the team, and how is he sort of integrating back with you guys?
Yeah, he has just finished his treatments. So he is in a part-time capacity, really. We're so excited about where he is medically, but there are contingencies in terms of what he can do. He's not out there, 15 hours a day and doing those things, but we're gradually, for his own health, we're bringing him back much more in an administrative role right now.
And that was head coach Brian Kelly, his Monday press conference as we tape here on Tuesday, the 14th of November. We got some more from Coach Brian Kelly after this upcoming break. But right there you heard that Coach Jimmy Lindsey has returned to the team as an administrative role, trying to work his way back after getting some treatment for an illness. Great to have Coach Jimmy Lindsey back. And Coach Budman, we brought Jancic into LSU to be the special teams guy. He had to kind of change over after you lose Coach Lindsey. He's helping with the defensive line right now, right? He's kind of helped with that jacked outside linebacker spot in the defensive line. But, man, in my opinion, need to improve the special teams, not getting enough from the return men. The coverage has been okay, but Brentwood kicks it into the end zone almost every time. So need to improve still, and hopefully getting Coach Lindsey back and kind of facilitate that moving forward.
Interesting to see what's going to happen with the staff, especially the defensive staff after the year. But glad to have Jimmy Lindsey back, although it does seem like it's going to be more of an administrative situation than on-field coaching. We pray for him. And don't forget, you saw the shirt with Jaden Daniels. Still pray for Greg Brooks and his recovery.
Yeah. One more quick break here on Tigers Roar. We'll come back and let you hear part 2 of Brian Kelly's press conference from Monday. You're watching Tigers Roar right here on Pelican Sports TV.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Now's the best time to experience Mazda during the season of inspiration at Team Mazda. For a limited time, make no payments for 90 days on your new Mazda. That's right. Shop now, choose your new Mazda, and make no payments for 90 days at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, gang. Clarence Bugs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Bugs Show.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Continue here on Tigers Roar. Jonathan Poche and the Budman Buddy Sanji. Remember to check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. You see it right there on your screen. Thank you, Katie, for the graphic. Talking some LSU football, now sitting at 5-2 in the SEC. A bounce-back win against Florida at the dropping one in Tuscaloosa to Alabama. Jaden Milroe continued to roll this past weekend. Budman, you think he might steal some votes away from Jaden Daniels for that Heisman potential race at the end? And you have a great point. I mean, he has come on very strong with his legs. He looked great with his arm this past Saturday. And Alabama has won the big games, and they will face Georgia in the SEC Championship.
Yeah, I probably misspoke there. I don't think he will steal any Heisman votes. I do think he will steal some votes in the SEC. Jalen Milroe played at 11 o'clock in the morning at Kentucky. He had 3 touchdowns rushing, 3 touchdowns passing. You think 6 touchdowns, that's kind of hard to beat.
Right.
And yet Jaden Daniels comes back Saturday night with 606 total yards and 5 touchdowns. Look, this Heisman Trophy talk, I got to ask you now. You're one of these young guys. Was it spontaneous? Was it planned? And him with the Heisman pose, you liked it, or what'd you think?
So breaking down the footage, Bud, man, I did pay attention. I know exactly what you're talking about. The handshake between Garrett Nussmeier and Jaden Daniels. Every time there's a touchdown, Jaden Daniels comes off the field. Him and Garrett Nussmeier have their handshake, and they ended with the rock and roll. Garrett Nussmeier still went with his rock and roll guitar when Jaden Daniels pulled the Heisman, so Nussmeier didn't know that was coming. I think it was impromptu. He had an incredible game. He knew the eyes of the nation were watching. He put up those amount of yards, both through the air and on the ground. Throw up the Heisman. I like the impromptu. Love how he wasn't flagged for it like Patrick Peterson back in the day when he got to the end zone after returning that punt. But look, Jaden Daniels knows what time it is.
Fournette did it too.
He sure did. Look,
and guess what? He didn't win it.
He didn't win it. Yeah, neither did Peterson.
So, look, as you alluded to, it's all in having a lot of fun. My point is that I just think that it's going to be one hell of a race. Well, look, we knew with Burrow and Jamar Chase, they were a lock. This is going to be interesting if LSU can have the Heisman and the Biletnikoff Award winners on the same team in the same year. Yeah. The biggest problem I have on all of the discussion, obviously, is the 3-loss team. LSU should win this weekend, 32. Who do you like to take Jimbo's place? And can you imagine getting called into the office and the boss says, Buddy, JP, Marty, Alan, Katie, we're not going to be able to employ you anymore. But the good thing is we're going to cut you. Well, they're not actually giving him $76 million, but $76 million over 8 years.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah, $47 million to coach here. $76 million to leave, but man, we went into the wrong profession. I keep telling you.
Yeah.
We'll let you guys hear from the head coach of the LSU Tigers. Here is Brian Kelly, part 2 of his Monday press conference, talking about his victory against Florida, his Heisman hopeful quarterback Jaden Daniels, their coordinator situation, who gets the credit, who gets the blame, and this upcoming game against Georgia State. Here is part 2 of Brian Kelly's press conference from this past Monday here on Tigers Roar.
Brian, how much have Mike Denbrock and Joe Sloan factored into the giant success that this offense and Jaden have had this year?
Yeah, look, there's an offensive coordinator that is responsible for, orchestrating this, and play calling, has a lot to do with it. When he's not, when the offense is not running well, Matt House has gotten a ton of criticism this year as the defensive coordinator. If our offense isn't going well, Mike Denbrock will get a ton of criticism for, what would be happening on offense. So he deserves a lot of credit for what's happening on the offensive side of the ball. He is, he's the chief play caller. So that comes with the job, right? That comes with the title. But it is a shared responsibility. Joe Sloan is intimately involved in everything we do. Cortez Hankton is. Brad is. Coach Wilson. Frank does an incredible job in factoring in a number of those layers as well. So there's somebody that's going to get a lot of the credit because of the title, but everybody has a shared responsibility. And when it comes to the quarterback, Joe Sloan should get a lion's share of the credit because he's in that room with them every single day.
Hey, Coach, down here.
Oh yeah.
Overall, first of all, just injury report for the week. John Emery maybe.
John Emery has an ACL tear, so we'll lose him for the season.
And I just wanted to ask, we obviously lots to talk about Jaden for the Heisman, but what about Malik Neighbors? He may be in contention for the Biletnikoff Award. What have you seen from him this season? What do you think about his candidacy?
I think he's the best wide receiver in the country, and I'm sure that Coach Day is going to say that his guy is the best, and I totally understand that. But Malik Neighbors, in terms of what he does, on jet sweeps, what he does in terms of yards after the catch, catching the ball down the field. I think he is, multi-dimensional in what he does, leading the country in receiving yards. I think he's the best receiver in the country and deserving of being a Biletnikoff Award winner.
After the game, you identified Josh and Noah as being contributors. Have you been able to identify anybody on the defensive side of the ball that could help push the program forward in a similar way?
Yeah, I think when I was talking to them, I was talking about an unselfishness amongst a group of really talented players. One of the things we lack a little bit is the depth, on the defensive side of the ball. But I think a group that has been unselfish this year is our defensive line. We have a lot of really good players, that are fighting for reps, quite frankly, and trying to get as much playing time. A guy like Parashan, for example, who had an outstanding play on quarterback outside the pocket, who's had a really good year for us. He's not getting 50 reps a game. He's somewhere in that, 30-something to 25, 30-something, and he's been an unselfish player for us. I would say, Jacobian Guillory, he's been an unselfish player for us. He's been in the 15 to 20. So I would say the defensive line probably ranks similar to the running backs. It's really the only group that we can get too deep in a swing. Everybody else, it's, tape them up and see if we can get two guys out there.
With some coaching changes going on, the portal window kind of has already opened for some teams with guys. Now that y'all are closer to the 85-man limit than you've been these past two off seasons, what's that process like as you balance the roster and incoming players from high school and potentially the portal?
Sure, good question. I think now, really selective in terms of the needs for our program. As I've said, and I've made this very clear, we want to build it with freshmen. So this freshman class is going to be a large freshman class, and we want to build it there first and foremost. But there are areas that we want to be able to top off with some premier players. And, obviously, if you're looking at the wide receiver position, if we went into the portal there, you have to match it up with a guy like Malik Neighbors, if he ever went early. I don't think you will. Well, obviously we'll find out, but, if it's a guy like that, right? You have to look at the talent that you have in your program and measure it accordingly. So that's one side of the ball. The defensive side of the ball, then you're measuring the talent that you might lose on defense and be able to measure it accordingly. So it's measuring the talent accordingly to what's available and who might be out there. But it's building it with the freshmen, and then, finding the particular players that might measure up to the players that you have in your program.
Brian, I know you probably were hoping this would be over last Thursday night, but when you talked to us Thursday, but the targeting call on Andre Sam, did the ref, did he make the decision on his own, or does he, I'm trying to get a timeline on how it works. Does he get help from the upstairs, like they rang down, and does he talk to Birmingham, and did they make the final decision on that one?
So there was no flag on the play. So that means that there was no call on the field. So they were buzzed, and they were buzzed that there may be a targeting on the field. So that's what stopped play and brought them to review. And upon review, it was determined by the replay official that there was targeting on the play. Where my confusion was the week before was that never was there an official underneath the hood, so to speak, on the side, where they bring down and you actually look at the play. So I was confused that, why wasn't it reviewed? They have subsequently said it was reviewed. Well, my question was, well, why is it reviewed one way and not the other? So you don't need the referee then to review, I guess. So I was just confused as to the process of reviewing. In one instance, there was a review without the referee involved, and on the other one, there was a review with the referee involved. So I was asking for a clarification as to what the process is, because I wouldn't know in that instance that there was a review or not.
And that was it, Coach Brian Kelly. The last question about that targeting call that wasn't or that was. Andre Sam ejected for a tackle that we did not believe was targeting. On the other hand, Dallas Turner was not ejected for a hit that everybody in Baton Rouge thought was targeting on Jaden Daniels.
But what he just said there is that, and what has made people, is that Birmingham reviewed Dallas Turner, but didn't actually go public with the review. And that, once again, proves that the SEC is like much of this world, false, cheating, and they make no bones about it. Yeah. Alabama had one penalty for 5 yards against Tennessee the week before they played LSU. You ever seen a team play a game like Alabama? One penalty for 5 yards.
Yeah. LSU this week will host Georgia State 7 o'clock on ESPN2. Last break of this episode. We'll come back and put a bow right here on Tigers Roar.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
If you're in the market for a full-size pickup that's packed with power, fun to drive, and loaded with features, then get ready to make memories driving the new Toyota Tundra. Come see the truck that's made for adventure at Team Toyota, I-12 at O'Neill.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar, the last segment of this episode. Certainly appreciate you tuning in, but if you missed any of this episode, go check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. It has all the Tigers Roars archived for your viewing pleasure, so go in, leave us a comment, let us know how we're doing. While you're at the page, click the like, subscribe, and notifications button so you get notified every time we post something new right there at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Last segment, Budman, only about a minute and a half. Let's talk about that Heisman race. I have Jayden Daniels, the clear front runner, with nobody even able to catch him, in my opinion. If somebody were to catch Jayden Daniels, who do you think it would be?
Look, the teams that have undefeated records, they're going to have those quarterbacks propped up. By the way, just a quick tidbit, Jim Harbaugh suspended again with the sign stealing. Big Ten trying to figure out what to do. He's acting like he didn't know anything about it. Back to the Heisman. I just want people to go week to week. We'll see when it's all said and done. I definitely think he will get to New York, depending on if Penix wins out at Washington, Nix wins out at Auburn, Travis wins out at Florida State. Yep. JD will be in New York. Hopefully, he's going to get that big trophy.
Yeah, Jordan Travis, obviously they went head-to-head in week 1. He's had a great season. Pennis still undefeated, 10-0. Washington 6 at number 5 in the polls. So, yeah, in my opinion, it has to be between Daniels, Penix, and Travis. But, hey, what an outstanding year. We never thought we'd have a quarterback play as well as Joe Burrow in 2019, but here we go in 2023, and Jayden Daniels has absolutely set the world on fire, both on the ground and through the air. We've never seen a quarterback quite like this. LSU has played the cheat code in the SEC in the years previous, Tim Tebow, Cam Newton, but this year LSU has their own cheat code, and we certainly appreciate you tuning in to this episode of Tigers Roar. Check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting.